Hi guys, welcome back to a Romanian Resurgence. My name is Chris, aka Big Will, and we have two games for you today. We are away against Farul Constanta in the league, and we've followed up with our second leg of the Conference League qualifier against Greek side PAOK. We've done quite a bit so far. We've already played a couple of league games. As you can see from the league table, just to the side there, we are sat in ninth place. We've had one win and one loss in our opening two matches. And unfortunately, we did lose that first leg against PAOK. I thought it was going to be a bit of a difficult tie when it was drawn, and they do have a lot of quality. But we did hold them close for around 75 minutes. We conceded a silly penalty, and then they scored in the 92nd minute to pretty much finish off the tie. We did create a lot of chances. We probably did deserve something from the game, but we just didn't find the back of the net. So I think, unfortunately, our European exploits could finish very, very early this season. The game that we lost in the league was against our rivals on the opening day, a 1-0 defeat there. But we did manage a 2-1 win at home against Ottolo Galati thanks to a brace from George Boca. So before we get into the games, we've had a lot of transfer business, a lot more than I was anticipating, and we're still looking at making a couple of signings. Um, but it's been a bit of a strange one, to be quite honest. We've made £1 million in sales. So Razvan Florier was out on loan last season. He came back. He hadn't really improved an awful lot. So we sold him to second division side Bottasani for £40,000. The English defender Jack Simpson never broke into the side, and with the foreign rules in place, he never got any game time. He went to Zimbru Chisinau for £34,000. Alin Raiku again, following his loan spell, he went to Sixereda for £100,000. And then our big sale, Miljan Kovacevic, went to FC Porto for £875,000. He wanted to leave because he didn't get that first team football that he wanted last season. So in the end, we have let him go. 10 signings in, quite surprisingly. A number of free transfers, one or two loans, as you can see as well. And we'll get into those now. So the first one we brought in was Modou Dieng. Comes in on a free transfer, a 19-year-old Senegalese under-20 international. Again, wage-wise, he was quite respectable, £600 a week, 6'3", and overall, really happy with the signing. I think he will develop into a very strong player for us, and he is a left-footed centre-back as well, which is something that we were lacking a bit. Samuel Regazzetti came in on loan from Cremonese for the season. We have got a link with Cremonese, so fortunately, the players that we brought in on loan from them don't require any wage payment. So that, excuse me, sorry, that did save us a little bit of money in relation to the wage budget. Pape Gueye came in as Senegalese international, 18 caps for the senior side, free transfer, only a 1.1 thousand a week. Again, solid signing for us in that midfield. Can play in the two normal midfield roles and that defensive midfield role that we use as well. So really happy to have brought him in. Guido Della Ravere was the second player to come in on loan from Cremonese. Plays on that right-hand side, can also play in the middle. And again, I quite like him, to be honest. He's 3-star quality. He's only 18 years of age. Plenty of ability to really pump himself up. And hopefully he will be a good signing for us. We then looked more into Romanian signings. We needed a little bit of homegrown registration ready for Europe, of course. So we then turned our focus to trying to bring in some Romanian players. Cosmin de Bozoancha, he came in on a free transfer, third choice goalkeeper. And yeah, it's exactly what it says on the tin, really. He's come in just on £400 a week, third choice goalkeeper, Romanian national. That's exactly what we were after. Eduard Florescu came in, central midfield player, 28 years of age, good amount of experience at this level, £1,900 a week. So certainly one of our higher paid players. But he's got a very good amount of quality, to be honest. All very average in terms of his ratings, between 11, 12 and 13. But he's got that core to him, and I quite like that, to be honest. And as soon as he gets his fitness levels up, he will become a very key player for us in that midfield. 30-year-old centre-back Daniel Celia, 6'2". Again, similar story to Florescu. He's got a bit of quality in there, 3-star of current ability. He's not going to improve. He's 30 years of age. Again, we had to pay a little bit more in terms of wages, but with the sale of Kovacevic, we did manage to convert some of it into transfer budget, scouting budget, and wage budget. So from a financial perspective, we are looking a lot better off for this campaign. Again, he's not going to set the world on fire, as I mentioned, but again, a very solid signing for us at centre-back. David Juric came in from Crvena Zvezda on a season-long loan deal. Decent quality left-back. We did need a second left-back following Kovacevic's exit, so he'll play as a backup to Adjuro. We are actually looking at another left-back, incidentally, on a permanent signing who can also play in central midfield, so he's a very good player as well, so I'm really hoping that that deal will get over the line. Noel Sergel. So we signed him initially on a pre-contract agreement, but he is a 19-year-old striker. We did need another option up front. We've got Boca and Zimba. A third choice is always a good option. And again, very similar. Yes, his attributes don't scream out natural goal scorer, but he could come good. He's only 19. And yes, I would have preferred a striker with more experience. We have been looking at a Romanian striker, excellent quality for this level, but we just cannot afford to bring him in. He wants around 4,000 to 4,500 a week, and we just can't pay that. It's really unfortunate, but it is something that we've been trying to do all summer, and he just will not sign no matter what I try right now. So Sergel came in, £45,000. It'll be a guaranteed profit anyway, should it not happen. So yeah, quite happy to have brought him in. And lastly, he came in today, incidentally, Christian Negut. Again, he's a player that we've been tracking for a while. He reduced his wage demands a little bit. He's on £1,700 a week. Again, very similar to the other two experienced players that we brought in. 29 years of age, Romanian, can play across that attacking midfield, so left or right-hand side. I think he can also play in central midfield, incidentally. But again, a lot of very average ratings, 12, 13, 14, good stability. And with that experience, I'm hoping that it might just give the youngsters a little bit more leeway and just build the team up a little bit more. As I was saying, though, we are still trying to conduct ourselves in the transfer market. There might be further deals that happen today in between the two matches. But again, we'll see what happens. Dishevsky looks like he's going to be leaving for a reasonably cheap deal, but we've signed him for free, so it is all profit. And then we're looking at replacing him with a veteran goalkeeper who has already said he'll retire at the end of the season, but it's a year of a very good goalkeeper. And then, obviously, as I mentioned, the left back come central midfield player that could be our last two signings, to be honest. But we'll see how things go now as we get into this league game against Farul Constanta. And as you can see there, usual starting 11. There is one or two changes that may happen as time goes on. Negut is actually going to come in on that right-hand side for Della Rivera today. Regazetti remains in at right back. Odorinde still wants more first-team football, but to be honest, I'm not really against selling him. He's got a lot of pace, but I wouldn't... I mean, if we could get around £500,000, £600,000 for him, I wouldn't be against selling him, to be fair. You know what? We'll just have a look at that now and just see. I mean, £120,000 isn't enough, really. But, I mean, we signed him on a free and he's never really broke into the side. We'll leave it for now. But we've got an idea, at least, about the kind of money we can get. I mean, his release clause is only 350,000, incidentally. So if we can get that for him, I'd be quite pleased in that case. Anyway, that's by the by. Let's get into these matches. So Negut makes his debut on this right-hand side. Otherwise, the squad is as it has been for the opening few matches. Incidentally, Marcel Zimba's not really broke into the side as of yet. George Boca had a good pre-season and he started the season reasonably well with those two goals against Ottolu Galat. So hopefully he can continue that today. Kamara, we're looking at signing a new deal to as well. He wants $2,000 a week. He's currently on £650. So, but But luckily, we're in a position where we can afford to increase wages a little bit because, as I mentioned, with that big sale of Kovacevic, we did manage to sort everything out financially, and we are in a much better position to be competitive. So going into these games, like I say, we'll tell lads that we want to see an improvement following that disappointing Conference League performance. But I say it's a disappointing performance. It was a disappointing result, but performance-wise, we played quite well. We just couldn't find the back of the net, as I mentioned before. So hopefully we can find the back of the net today, and we can start to build a little bit of momentum in the league. The board only want us to finish in the top half. So we're in a reasonably comfortable position. We know that we can finish in the top half of the league quite comfortably. We finished third in the end last season. So it's something that is very achievable. And I think this season and maybe next season as well, it's going to be about stability. If we can try and regulate ourselves and get into Europe reasonably regularly, that could be a big turning point for us. But again, it's going to be very, very tough to do so. Gramina here into Dennis Politic. And now Dior. Gregorian into Serbu. They're knocking it about with confidence here, Constanta, and it's not. I'm a little bit nervy this season. I mean, they always say you get second season syndrome after a promotion and doing well in the first campaign, and I am very wary of things like that, and I do believe it a little bit as well, which probably doesn't help. We still have a relatively young squad. We have managed to bring some experience into the team, but overall, yeah, it could be a bit of a difficult one, and we've seen the concession of a few penalties already this season as Gramini steals in there to open the scoring. 37 minutes gone. We didn't even get near them at all during that move. They just constantly played it around us, and Gramini ended up completely free there on the edge of the penalty area, along with a couple of other players, which is extremely poor, to be quite honest. And yeah, defensively, very suspect. And we need to wake up a little bit following that one. But Negert's played very poorly. Dosso and Boca both not getting in the game at all. Here is Dosso now, though, and plays it into Ajuro, who's on a yellow card. Lays it forward into David Matai. Into Dosso now. Can he get the ball into the penalty area? Matai back to Bruno Henrique. And now Kamara into Dorat. He's got support wide right. Negut manages to get in behind. Plays it across, and Banco manages to tip it out. And it's gone for a throw. He drove that straight across the face of goal. And unfortunately remains 1-0. And it's been very lacklustre from our front men today. And don't get me wrong, Farul Constanta, I know they are a good side, but we proved ourselves a lot last season, and you know we've got to try and build on that. And unfortunately, we might not be able to. Negut's taken a knock here, so we're going to bring De La Rivera on. And I mean, Dosso's done nothing, and neither's George Boca, incidentally. So I think, to be fair, Marcel Zimba can come on for Boca at this stage. He does look fired up, but he's not looking like he's going to get anything in front of goal. And Dosso's been poor as well, so we're going to get Migueles on that left-hand side, get that experience on the left, switch it around a bit. And Juric can come on for Ajuro, who, again, he's had a poor performance and he's on that yellow card. It's rare for me to do so many changes right at the start of the second half, but I think we certainly need that. And we need to just refresh the side a little bit. We'll offer some encouragement, but this is looking very, very poor from our point of view. We're not looking like we're going to get into the game at all. We've not really created a single thing. We've got one more change we can make, and it's going to be Henrique to come off for Papagueye. Again, try and get that experience on in that holding midfield. Banco to Martinovic. And now Gramini into Politic. Back to Gramini. Dior, good tackle from Kamara. Now Dorat into Migueles. Plays it into Marcel Zimba. Chance to get the shot away, and it was a tame effort, really. Banco did well with the save, but it was a bit of a tame effort, unfortunately, from the Zambian. And it remains 1-0. And at least we've had an attempt on target. Again, we'll offer a bit of encouragement. Just try and keep that morale high. But following that loss against PAOK, it could be a bit of a difficult one to come back from. Here's Zimba. Juric into Gueye. And now Dorat with the strike. And it's not on target again. It goes wide. And it's not through the want of trying, for sure. I have toyed with the idea of changing the system a bit as well, but I can't work out a system to get two strikers where we can pack that midfield. But we've looked very, very toothless there in front of goal, and we certainly need to change that for the upcoming game against PAOK. Um, it's not looking too promising. I mean, we didn't lose games by big margins last season either, so that is something that I am quite proud of. We are keeping things relatively tight at the moment, but we need to get going in front of goal, and we need to do it quickly. We're down to 10th place following that defeat, obviously very early in the season. I'm not reading too much into the league table at this stage, and it's only 2 days to that game against PAOK, so we'll just crack on through. Normally, obviously, I'd come back for it, but we'll just crack on through at this stage and see what happens. So we've had the bid come in for Deshevsky, so we're accepting that £75,000. It's not a lot of money, but it's something that we can certainly make use of. And if we can get either of these two players in the coming days, that would be fantastic. Like I say, the young player, the Nigerian left back, come midfielder, very good quality. I'm really hoping he signs because he's agreed a deal, incidentally, for a decent wage as well. I was quite surprised at that one. But there seems to be a bit of a theme with African players at the moment. I don't really know what it is, but we seem to be keep finding them at the moment. I'm hoping for a good performance again in this second leg against PAOK, but I'm not expecting us to win the tie overall. If we can win on the night, that would be great. But again, I really don't think we'll get very far with it, unfortunately, which is a big shame because I think we're more than capable of being competitive against some of the teams that qualify for the Conference League. But unfortunately, we go into it in the early qualification stages against some very good teams, and it's just something that we cannot really battle against at the moment. Very good young striker there by the name of Isaac. Very, very cheap as well, incidentally, but I'm not in the market for a striker. We're looking at these two players at the moment, and then after that, we'll see what happens. Yeah, you see, we can maybe get 140,000 for Oderinde, but I don't think we're going to get too much more for him. Try and get 250,000. I think that's probably fair, to be honest. I mean, he's valued a lot more for some reason. But again, he's not playing regularly. He wants more first team football, and we just can't give it him. Every single time he seems to be overtaken by somebody else, and obviously the right back that we brought in on loan is playing quite well at the moment. Sepsi have come in with a bid for him. It's only 110,000. We're rejecting that one. And again, Mitch Clark, he was a player that we were looking at as well. And he's a very good fullback. He can play right back and left back. But I think we're maxed out in our foreign players because we've got Chetkovic as one. I don't think it matters in Europe, but of course it'll come up with the. So yeah, so we've got Chetkovic, Juric, Bruno Henrique. Oh, perhaps we've only got three. We have only got three, so we could actually bring him in. And if we do sell Oderinde, then that would be the replacement. The thing is, he wants £3 a week. We can't really afford to be doing that at the moment. So, here we go. A couple of changes to the starting 11. We're not changing the system just yet. I'm not too worried about the system. I think it works for us. But again, I don't know whether we need to change some of the player roles or anything like that. It's very, very awkward because we're not playing badly. That's the key thing here. We're not playing badly. We just lack that end product at the moment. And that's the frustrating part of all of it. They've got some excellent players, PAOK. I mean, they've got the likes of former Spain international Johnny, Chustikon, Cameroonian, international Kiliarakis, Greek, Thomas Delaney, former Danish international, I think, Bulgarian international, Greek international, Serbian international, former Argentinian player. They have got some excellent talent. Incidentally, they've changed a lot of the players around from that first leg as well. So be interesting to see how we get on against this team this time round. Um, they don't look particularly weaker. If anything, they look a bit stronger, which is a bit of a it's a bit unnerving. But there, let's see how we get on. Like I say, I just want us to be competitive, and unfortunately, I mean, I'm looking at some of the other teams that are in at this stage. We have been very unlucky with the draw. We really have. Zivkovic here with a corner swings it to the edge of the area for Despodov, and he was the one that scored twice against us in the first leg, so we've got to keep an eye on him today. The strike, luckily from our point of view, off target, but he's got a lot of quality at this level as well. So from our point of view, he's a five-star player. So in relation to our quality, you can tell how good he is. Boca looks like he's picked up a knock, so Marcel Zimba's coming straight on for him. I'm not risking any kind of injuries at the moment. Very early in the season, we need to keep everybody as fit as possible. Dorat's struggling already fitness-wise today as well. And this is, fortunately, it's looking very similar to the first leg. First half, nothing created from either side. And then the second half, they just picked it up a little bit more. But of course, they've got the lead. They don't have to go out there and do anything today. Dorat was struggling for fitness. He's had a good game, though. That's the problem. We'll take him off for Eduard Florescu, I think. Papaguay can come on for Bruno Henrique. I think it's at the moment it's just a case of making sure we can keep players rested. Dimitri's going to come on for Della Rivera as well at half time, and we'll see. See if we can just create anything. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? We'll offer some encouragement to the lads as well. The thing is, PAOK have certainly been the better team today. We were very much on par with them in the first leg, incidentally. But if we can just get a goal, you know what? I was about to go attacking. Odorinde here to Dimitri. Swings it to that far post. Otto with the clearance, but Dosso picks it up. Plays it to the edge area for Matai. Now Gueye. Back to Ajuro. Can he get into the penalty area? He can. The strike's off target again. We're going to go very... We're going to go attacking first and foremost for definite because we need to get a goal here. I don't think we're going to get one though. Again, the problem is up front. We just can't. We're not creative enough at times, I don't think, and it's a bit of a concern. I think the signings we made are the right ones, but again, it's just lacking. And Zivkovic there hitting the post. I mean, Chetkovic had a great appearance today, incidentally. He's had a very good game. Again, we're offered some more encouragement. Florescu with a corner. Swings it in, and there is the attempted header from Matai Marin. He couldn't get to it. Dimitri into Dosso. Gets into the penalty area, strikes it, and again, it's off target. Can we please just hit the target? We've not had an attempt on target in any highlight here. And in the end, it's going to be a very poor performance. Again, defensively, we're not bad at all. But have PAOK really gone all out? Who knows? They've not needed to, have they? Because they've got that lead from the first leg, of course. It's very, very frustrating, though. We just can't seem to build ourselves any momentum up front at the moment. Here is Ekong into Otto. Into Despodov, back to Kotas, and now Merg. Despodov. Again, we're not putting the challenges in. Merg's in there, and Merg has scored. And this is exactly what they did in the first leg. Very late goal. But it's finished the tie off, and we've just... I mean, again, we've just not looked good going forward. Again, I don't really know what I can change either. It's very, very difficult. We've signed some good players. I've got faith in Marcel Zimba that he will come good. He scored 16, 17 goals in the end last season. Of course, the hat-trick in that vital playoff final. But, I mean, I knew this was going to be a tough tie anyway. Don't get me wrong. It was a very tough tie to withdraw on. But we should be looking to at least be getting goals. And at the minute, we're not. In our opening 4 games, we've only scored in one of them. In our opening 5 games, sorry. we've only scored in one of them, and that was a 2-1 win against Ottawa. And 3 of the 4 defeats were 1-0. We definitely need an out-and-out goal scorer, and I'm going to have to look at ourselves tactically as well. There's not really much more I can do. Boca has unfortunately pulled his groin, so he's going to be out for a few days. But again, look at how much improvement he's making. I've got to maintain faith with the strikers that we've got. He's a very good young player. We've received a little bit of money, £600,000 in all, even though we've been knocked out straight away. Deshevsky has now left. I'm disappointed we've been knocked out so early. But again, it was pretty difficult tie to get through. Well, we're going to push on, and as I mentioned, 1 win in our opening 5 games this season, albeit 3 of them were league games, the other 2 were very tough European games. We'll probably get through all of August. We'll come back in September for the derby against Rapid, and then we've got a tough game against Petrol as well, who beat us twice, of course, in the Champions playoff round last season. And we'll see how we get on. Hopefully we can see some improvement. Hopefully we can see some goals. We certainly need them. So until then, guys, thank you very much for your support. Please like, subscribe to the channel. It's all greatly appreciated. I will see you all next time. This is Big Will, signing away.